Hey guys, Retro Gaming Goth here, and I am back with a new video for you guys. Now, as promised, I did get a subscriber recently, so thank you very much for that. I don't know who it is, unfortunately. Normally I get notifications saying who the subscriber is, but if you do subscribe to my channel, please leave a comment below and I'll give you a mention in the next video and obviously show a bit of appreciation by doing so. But because I got this new subscriber, I promised you guys that I would showcase the team that I used as a starter, literally. This is Infernape, and yeah, as you can probably clearly see, its item is left over. It's not Infernape is a powerful Pokemon. It can be used as a sweeper, if anything. You know, big massive attacks like Flare Blitz in close combat and pretty much nuke anything that the opponent has. But I gave it leftover because yeah, its health is pretty. Not its health. Its defense stats are pretty low, even though it benefits with its attack and speed. So I give it leftover just in case it took any damage, and obviously it boosted it up. Its ability, it's gentle by nature and likes bitter food, so it made sense for me to give it an apple. Plus, I'm pretty sure apes like apples anyway, so it makes perfect sense to give it that. But it knows Blaze, so that basically powers up all fire type moves when its HP is low. So I could have given it Focus Ban in case it suffered a potential one-hit KO. It would have been reduced down to literally 1 HP. Its Blaze ability would have kicked in, it would have powered up all its fire type moves. It does specialise mainly in high attack as opposed to its normal attack. But its speed's pretty decent as well. Its defense is lacking, but it benefits with its special attacks and its speed all overall. With that being said, I will say this is the team that I used to defeat the Elite Four and Cynthia. So if some of you might be wondering why I have these moves, well, I do have my reasons. Obviously, I know there are better ways of building these Pokemon. I just did these the way I did because at the time it made more sense. And yeah, I wanted to be able to... Yeah, probably not going to really win this argument by saying I wanted to defeat my opponent in the best way I knew how. Now, I gave it Infinite Mach Punch because every Pokemon some Pokemon can be faster than Infernape, and some can use moves like Mach Punch, like Aqua Jet or Ice Shard, and they can just be the first ones to hit. So I gave Infernape Mach Punch just because it can quickly land a punch against an opponent. It might do minimal damage, but it's damage nonetheless. Acrobatics, because if your opponent obviously has a Pokemon that has a held item, it can do more damage. Flamethrower and Natural instead of Flare Blitz because it's got more special attack stats than normal attack stats. Flare Blitz does do recoil damage, unfortunately. But I figure if Infernape does survive any oncoming attacks, then weaken it down to nothing. With special attack and Blaze, why do I keep saying Blaze? With Blaze in effect as well, Flamethrower will be a really powerful fire type move to use. And also its other special move is Grass Knot, because there are a lot of Pokemon in this generation that Infernape is typically weak against. And if you saw my team beforehand, you have noticed not a lot of my Pokemon can defend really well against water types. I don't know if anyone's even noticed that, but I gave Infernape Grass Knot because yeah, it is a special move. But not only that, I did go up against quite a lot of ground rock type Pokemon, so even though Mach Punch is effective against rock types, it's not a powerful move, and because typically rock type Pokemon are usually heavy, and there are a lot of heavy Pokemon in this game, it made sense for me to give Infernape Grass Knot as well, just to counter all those pesty water rock type Pokemon under the circumstance that all the other moves aren't really effective against them, and some of them that are effective don't do much damage. So that's my Infernape, and it is my strongest Pokemon, given the fact that it's a starter. I pretty much went through this entire game just using Chimchar to Monferno to Infernape without using much of my other team. But when it came to the Elite Four, it became more difficult just to use Infernape. And I did get through the first 3 challenges with just Infernape, but then started losing them bit by bit. And yeah, unfortunately, I did lose the first time, but then I got stronger. With the team, I gave them more items to hold, better items to hold, and better attacks to use, and therefore I won that tournament for that reason. So next on my list is Houndoom. Now you might be wondering, why do I have 2 fire types in this team? Well, I'd said this in the last video why I had 3 fire types, because I typically loved Magmar, and that, spoiler alert, that is actually the only Pokemon I switched for another Pokemon, because I was already running 3 fire types, and it just. I like Houndoom. I do like its dark typing. There probably is other options. There's probably something like Sneasel to use as a dark type, and with its ice typing, it would have gone up against Cynthia's Garchomp a lot better. But nevertheless, I chose Houndoom because it's fast, it's powerful, its ability kind of isn't really nice, but it is holding Zap Plate for this reason in particular. Let me just scroll over to it. So for starters, its special attack is pretty high, but its speed really does stand up for everything else. It has got a nice attack stat as well, but it specializes in its special attacks more than, well, anything beyond its health next to its speed as well. So it's fast and powerful. So with that being said, this is the moveset I've got for it for the time being. I could probably change it to something a little bit better, but I gave it Flamethrower and Dark Pulse for its special moves, given the fact that they are Houndoom's typings, Fire and Dark. And again, aside from Infernape, this is literally the only other Pokemon that can stand up against water types, so that's why I gave it Thunderfang, and being the fact that it's a dog and they naturally bite by nature anyway, so that's why it's holding the ability Zap Plate, because its attack stats aren't that high, and it made sense for me to give it Thunderfang in case I came up against any form of water types. Because like I said, this team doesn't really have anything that can stand up against it. So with Infernape's Grass Knot and Houndoom's Thunderfang, and given the fact that I've chosen 2 Pokemon with types weak to water and ground and rock and whatnot, I literally gave those 2 Pokemon the only type attacks that stood any chance against any of the said types. So it's a bit weird why I did that, but to be fair, I actually don't know why I did it. Also, it knows Roar, and that's because of the Pokemon that I'm going to show you next. In case I do come up against a Pokemon that I don't want a Houndoom fighting, I just use Roar, send it back, and hopefully, if the field is set up just nicely, this next Pokemon, if it is the next Pokemon, no it's not, okay. So, I'll tell you about the next Pokemon in a second. So, my next Pokemon is Heracross, obviously. Now I've already clicked onto its moves, so I'll just go back to its normal stats. So it's a bug fighting type. Originally, I did give this thing Insect Plate to help power up its bug type moves, because this isn't the typical Heracross that's knows Swarm, which boosts up all bug type moves when it's weakened. It's the one that knows Guts, which when falling under a certain status condition, poison, paralyze, sleep, or burn, its attacks would increase. But I gave it Focus Band because, yeah, it does know Guts. I know there's a much better set of Heracross to run. There's the Sleep Talk set, where Heracross knows Sleep Talk, Rest, Earthquake, and Mega Horn. All powerful moves. If Heracross becomes weakened, you can just use Rest, put it to sleep. It then becomes a status condition. Its ability Guts would kick in. Use Sleep Talk. While it's sleeping, it uses one of its other remaining movesets. The problem with that is that there's a 33% chance that it could hit Rest again, and it's not going to be effective on Heracross if it's already asleep. But if it hits Earthquake or Mega Horn, it will do a massive amount of damage. But I gave it Focus Band because of its moveset. As you can see, its special attack is lacking, but its attack is way up there, pretty much next to its health. But its defense is a little lacking, which is why I gave it Focus Band, because its 4 times weakness is flying. But when it came to the Elite Four, there was an Elite Four member that used Psychic types. So although I had a bug Pokemon, which is Heracross, its fighting typing really made it hard for me to go up against Psychic types using Heracross. Although Mega Horn is a powerful move, if Psychic types are typically faster, so if a Psychic Pokemon landed a Psychic attack, it could potentially kill Heracross, which is why I gave it Focus Band, so at least Heracross had an option to attack and hopefully defeat the Pokemon that it was going up against. The Elite Four member did use Alakazam and Mr. Mime first and foremost, and they were both faster than Heracross, so originally this thing did have Insect Plate, but I changed it to Focus Band just because of that. Its move pool does contain a variety of, shall we say, type attacks. So if Heracross was to go first, it literally can counter virtually anything that it goes up against. With having a Dark type move, a Flying type move, a Bug, and a Fighting type move, it pretty much had an advantage against not everything, but a lot of different Pokemon. So with that being said, that's why I gave it Focus Band, because I at least wanted to do some form of damage. And this Heracross is more or less designed to engage in battle and hopefully stick around long enough for it to make a counter attack. But there is always that one time where somebody could kill Heracross in one big sweep with literally just one hit. So I gave it Focus Band just on the off chance that could ever happen. And given the fact I did battle quite a few Psychic types, and there might be that odd one trainer that knows a Flying type Pokemon, or might even might know for flying type Pokemon, might have a flying type Pokemon, they might even have a fire type for all I know. Basically, anything that could kill Heracross with just one shot. And I didn't want that to happen. I want the Heracross to be built in a way where it can engage in battle. So for that reason, yeah, I could still go for the sleep, the sleep talk rest version of the Heracross. I might even change it to that yet if I was ever going to go up in like a more competitive battle against anybody. But this is more of a move pool set where Heracross could virtually go up against anything, and it could potentially stand a chance against those Pokemon. And I took away its inset play because Mega Horn is a powerful bug type move anyway. In fact, it's actually the strongest bug type attack for any bug Pokemon, or any Pokemon that can basically for any Pokemon. It is the most powerful bug type move because it does like 120 damage. So yeah, it is the strongest physical attack move for that type. So I took away inset plate for that reason, and obviously I gave it focus bang because I just wanted it to stay in battle long enough for it to do some damage instead of trying to kill my opponent, even though that does sound a lot better than just stalling the battle out. Here we go. So remember what I said before about the setting the field up all nicely, involving Houndoom's Roar? Well, this is the Pokemon for it. So Drapion is overall a powerful Pokemon anyway. Some people might disagree, but I gave it the ability Razor Claw, which could increase hang on, just reading this now. I don't know why I don't know this. Basically, it can land a critical hit more easily than what it normally would, and it has an ability called Hidden Armor, which protects it from being hit with critical ratios. So it can take it, but it can dish it out. And we have been a poison dark type. Yeah, I am aware I already have a dark type. A lot of Pokemon I do have secondary typing that goes with another type of Pokemon. But Drapion is an overall powerful Pokemon in general. So for that reason, I chose that. Yep, Battle Armor, that's the one, if I hadn't said that already. Protects it from critical hits. And it's got a nice defense stat, not so much on special defense. Its speed is okay as well, but its attack stat in general is pretty high. So, I mean, it's not exactly Heracross high, but it's a standard powerful Pokemon. I can't say it's a standard Pokemon because it's not. It goes beyond that. And we've been both poison and dark, even though it's a poison type, which is weak to psychics, because of its dark typing, it's immune to it. So I don't really know what else I can say about Drapion. It is just a good Pokemon, at least in my opinion anyway. And this is the setup I was talking about. Drapion is the only Pokemon that knows Toxic Spike, so if it was literally my first choice, it can take hits, but it could also set up the field, and it can hit hard, especially with the Cross Poison, X-Scissor, and Crunch. All good moves. And if any of them landed a critical, they can do a lot of damage. And Cross Poison could potentially poison your opponent, as well as Crunch can weaken their defense, or is it the special defense? It's one or the other. So for that reason, I chose Drapion as one of my Pokemon for my team, because it's just really good. Steelix. Now, I mentioned this in my Pokemon Diamond showcase in my Pokemon team then. Steelix is overall a good Pokemon in general. There's no denying it. It's such an easy Pokemon to get a hold of. Not like in previous generations where you had to get Onix and then get Metal Coat and then trade it to another player and then trade it back. You can openly get Steelix in these games now. So anybody who's anybody could probably run a Steelix in their team, or is more than likely going to because of its stats. Some beneficial, some not so some not so good. But I gave it leftovers because Steelix has one major advantage to its stats. Aside from the fact that it knows Sturdy, which can take any form of KO, it also has the item Leftovers, so if it does potentially get killed, Leftovers could heal it up gradually. Although I don't think Steelix will be around after that because its speed really is lacking in anything. Might be better giving it the item Quick Claw, so at the very least it can attack. It could potentially attack first. Not so much to worry about as long as I don't go up against an opponent that Steelix is weak against. I might know a special move that can kill Steelix, which could be quite a lot. Water, another ground type because it's half steel. But ground type moves are typically a physical move, and that's where Steelix is beneficial. Its defense is so high, it is almost uncompared to other Pokemon because none of them have a defense nearly as high as Steelix's. There are probably other Pokemon out there that does, such as maybe Cloyster. That Pokemon's physical defense stats is high as well. I'm sure there are probably other Pokemon. I mean, aside from the legendaries, Steelix is just a normal Pokemon with a really high defense. It's lacking in special attacks, and it's not very resistant against any form of special attacks because its special defense is low. Its speed is a little bit weak. Its HP is not too bad, but its attack is decent enough, and its defense is really high. So again, I know I keep mentioning that, but when you got a Pokemon with a high stat to it, you're not really not going to use it in your team, are you? Now, I could use Earthquake instead of Dig, but I literally only have one Earthquake in my my character's rucksack right now. So yeah, I probably could use a Heart Scale to make Steelix remember the move Earthquake, but I don't know if it can do that. I'm sure it probably can. But nevertheless, it does know Stone Edge. Now, I did swap Hard Stone out for Leftover, although I probably didn't really need to. Hard Stone increases the attack of Rock type moves, and Stone Edge is the only one that is the only Rock type move that would be beneficial for. With that being said, if Steelix did get hit with a one hit kit, an attack that could potentially kill it, its Rock type move, Stone Edge, equipped with Hard Stone, could potentially defeat my enemy's Pokemon. But that's all depending on whether or not the opponent actually has a decent Pokemon that can be defeated with Stone Edge, or a Pokemon that's crap that could be defeated with Stone Edge. Either way. But Stone Edge is powerful without Hard Stone anyway. So that being said, for Stone Edge, Dig, however, although Steelix does most of the time go second, it's a shame that I can't really... I don't know why I haven't changed that move to Earthquake yet. Aside from the fact that Dig is a good way to get away from an opponent's attack, I really have been going up against Pokemon that know Earthquake, so Digging is not a good move to use against an opponent's Pokemon that knows Earthquake. And it's a move that Steelix is weak against, which it's Steel typing. So I don't know why I haven't changed that Dig move just yet, but for now, this is the move I did use in the Elite Four and so on and so forth. And yeah, I really actually should change that move to something a bit more efficient, like Thunder Fang or Ice Fang or something that would benefit Steelix more than a ground type move. But I always feel like if a Pokemon has a certain type to it, it's got to have at least one attack based on its type, and it did know Dig to begin with. It could use Sandstorm, but that usually helps boost up Rock type Pokemon, and the only Pokemon that Sandstorm doesn't affect in my team is Steelix. And yeah, it's got a high defense, I've said it numerous times. There's a lot of options I could have chosen instead of Dig. Anyway, his other move is Iron Tail. It's his signature move because, well, it's a snake. So the most effective move it's going to use is Iron Tail because it's a big metal snake. Stealth Rock, again, if Steelix went out first, I could set up the field with Stealth Rock, and it could do damage to an opponent that comes out. It does more damage to a Pokemon if it's weak against Rock types. It's 4 times weakness. It's 4 times more damaging if it goes up against a Flying Fire type, such as Charizard, for example, or I don't know. I forgot the other name of the other Flying Fire Pokemon, which is quite popular in some gens. But anyway, so that's my Steelix. So moving on to the next Pokemon, we have Staraptor. Not gonna lie, I did watch a YouTube video on Pokemon that you should not use in this generation because they are so commonly used. Staraptor, unfortunately, is one of them. But can you really blame anyone for using Staraptor? Next to that was Garchomp and Luxray. And by the way, I can't remember the name of the YouTuber that posted this video, but I did love what I saw. I was kind of thinking, why would these be the top Pokemon you shouldn't use in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Because aren't the Pokemon you want typically the ones that most people use because they are the best? Understandably, I get where he was coming from. There were other options for other Pokemon in the game that could be used. Hence why I didn't choose certain Pokemon. But I did choose Staraptor because it is a good Pokemon. There's no denying it. Unfortunately, in this game, I couldn't really find many choices of Pokemon to actually go in my team. And I've been a fan of Staraptor since the original Diamond and Pearl. I always felt like when it came to types of Pokemon, you had to have various ones in your team. Like a flying Pokemon would always be handy against fighting types, bug types, grass types. A flying Pokemon really is necessary for those cases at the very least. If I ain't mentioned another type, I don't know if there is another one, but I'm pretty confident there is. Bug, whatever. The point is, I've been a fan of Staraptor for a while anyway, and it's a cool looking Pokemon in general. And it's, yeah, what can I say about it really? But it has the item Sharp Beak to power up its flying type moves, which can be handy at times. It knows the ability Intimidate, which can weaken your opponent's attack stats, so it can't hurt as much. Its attack in general is really high. I mean, 210, nothing to sneeze at. Speed, pretty decent. Staraptor's typically fast anyway. There are faster Pokemon out there, but when it came to a flying type, it was either this or Honchkrow. And unfortunately, you can't get Honchkrow without getting Murkrow, and you can't get Murkrow in Shining Pearl unless you trade for it. At least that's what I've noticed. So for obvious reasons, I chose Staraptor to be my team because it's a good Pokemon in general. Enough said. I didn't choose Garchomp, although I do have that in my box. I haven't gotten Luxray. You saw the opponent I battled. They had a Luxray. They had, I think, another Pokemon that was used quite a lot. The point I'm trying to get at is there's very little choice in choosing what Pokemon you have in this game without picking a Pokemon that have a type that you already have from another Pokemon. Hence, I mean, I had 3 fire types at one point. Now I've got 2 dark types and 2 fire types. So what else can I say? I mean, I'm basing this on Pokemon that, yeah, there are options out there to choose certain ones, but I chose the team I had just because they are good Pokemon, at least for me. Its abilities, its moves, however, Whirlwind, again, if you set up Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rock, Whirlwind and Roar will rotate the Pokemon around, they'll do minimum damage, and each one of them could potentially get poisoned. Now, it knows Roost as well, because we ain't knowing Brave Bird, which does recoil damage, and if it took damage anyway, Roost is a nice move to just regain some of that health. Close Combat, again, a powerful move, and if I come up against any Rock-type Pokemon, that is really dangerous for Staraptor because it's typically weak against Rock, so having Close Combat as a move was necessary, and that's why I chose Staraptor. And if I'm not mistaken, that might be my last Pokemon. Oh, yes, it is. So, guys, what do you think to my team? Yeah, no doubt about it. I can make some altercations. I'm not going to lie, getting Heracross was a real pain in the backside. Has anyone noticed this? When you put honey in a tree, the game is literally fixed on the Pokemon that comes from that tree after so many hours have passed. I think it's a whole day. The thing is, you can save the game at the point where the tree is shaking, but when you reveal the Pokemon that's inside it, the game is like locked on that Pokemon being the one that comes out. So no matter how many times you reset the game, hoping that if you shake the honey tree again, a different Pokemon is going to come out, it is not. Unfortunately, I had to find that out the first time I tried to find a Heracross. I can't remember what Pokemon it was that came out the first time. I think it was another bug type. I think it was Wurmple. But that Pokemon kept coming out every time I kept turning the game off and then went back to the tree to go shake it on the hope that a different Pokemon will come out. There's only a 5% chance that Heracross was going to appear. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So I had to wait another day, travelling through the game, putting honey in more and more trees where Heracross was. Thankfully, I did find a Heracross in one tree. Now, when I was very specific on the Heracross I wanted one with guts, and I also wanted a male one. Not to sound sexist or anything, but doesn't Heracross look a lot more badass with its horn looking like it is doing with those sharp pointy tips than a Love Heart and being much shorter? I don't know why male Heracross just stands out for me more than a female Heracross. I'm not gonna lie, I actually prefer male Heracrosses to females because, yeah, it's the horn. The horn just doesn't look intimidating, shall we say. Plus, thankfully, the game doesn't lock in the gender of the Pokemon. So if you do find a Heracross in a honey tree, if it's not the gender you want, because for whatever reason, we all know that in Pokemon, different types, different genders, different stats, whether they're different natures, whether they're hasty, bitter, shy, or whatever mood they're in. This version of Heracross was literally the one I was after, and I eventually did get it. The first male one I saw had a new swarm, which boosts up all bug type moves if it's weakened. Not bad, but the guts one was a lot more promising to me than the swarm version one. Yeah, a little bit naive and like sweet food, kind of like me in a way. So for that reason, I thought this Heracross was perfect for me. And with that being said, Drapion, yeah, can't be hurt by critical moves, and it has Razor Claw, so it can deal out critical moves, and given its attacks, it can hit pretty hard if it wanted to. Steelix, yeah, definitely needs some form of improvement, but nevertheless, a high defense, and it knows stir, and it can regain its health a little bit hasty, but it likes sweet food, and it likes to fight. So yeah, there's a lot about these Pokemon I could go over, but unfortunately, I'm really just not feeling the mood to go through it in great detail. In fact, I think I pretty much covered all the basics on what I need to know anyway. But with that being said, what do you guys think of my team? And honestly, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a lovely comment. If you don't, just put whatever you want. If you don't like the video, that is absolutely fine. Let me know. Or just don't like the video. If you even watch the video and you don't feel like just even hitting the thumbs up or hitting the thumb down or not even leaving a comment, just watch it 5 seconds later, bother it, you can turn it off. I don't know, it's completely your choice. But I would appreciate if you did support my channel, because I do like doing these videos, and I do like the fact that you guys are actually taking the time out of your lives to watch these, not perfect videos, but there you go. Anyway, I'm rambling on. That's my team. Yep, I am going to make some altercations with it, probably in the nearby future, but not right now at this moment. So, for now guys, I am Retro Gaming Goth, and I hope you do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And hit that notification bell as well if you want to see another video like this. And thank you to the subscriber who subscribed to my channel and giving me a reason to actually take the time to make a new video. With that being said, I am Retro Gaming Goth. Take care. Bye bye.